What's going on? Welcome to Move Fast, Lift Heavy podcast. I'm co-host Joe Roscoe. Welcome to the pod. If it's your first time listening, and if you like what you hear, rate, subscribe, leave a comment, tell your friends. It would be greatly appreciated. If you're back at it, if you're watching on YouTube, I was staring at the microphone for some reason above my camera instead of the camera. Anyways, here I am. If you're watching on youtube.com/Move Fast, Lift Heavy. Thanks again for tuning in. You can also keep telling your friends about what we're doing here, all things fitness and apparel. If you want to train with the man, Christian Harris, you can do so at movefastliftheavy.com. You can give us a follow on the gram at movefastliftheavy. All right, speaking of the man, let's bring him on. The beard has been tamed. He shaved it back at Wadapalooza a bit, put some black gunk on his face. He had a facial or something like that. I don't know. They had these hot pumice stones. They were rubbing on the palms of his hands as they were trimming his beard. You ever see The Wizard of Oz? I'm just going to keep going. He's like the Cowardly Lion in like when they took him to Oz and they did like the whole makeover. That was basically Christian at the Spot Barbershop in Miami. If you want to see that, actually, we put out weekly YouTube vlogs, and you can watch Christian get pampered on this barbershop chair. Let's bring him on. Let's see what his facial looks like. It's pretty good. Your glasses are hiding it.
I'm going for a cut today, so I got to look my best. I got to look my best this weekend. So
was that black tar they put on your face? Was that supposed to take away like your crow's feet off your like wrinkles off your eyes, or what was that all about?
I think it's just a little something to help rejuvenate the skin. I forget what it's called, but it's like some black gunk. Yeah. Like some some squid ink on your face.
Okay. So if you want to check that out, you go to the playlist section of our YouTube channel and hit the vlogs, and it's part 1 of our Wadapalooza YouTube vlog. All right, you got your swim on. I understand our guest also went swimming. Why don't you intro our guest and we'll jump into this amazing conversation.
Yeah, so our next guest, I think I've known her for about 7-ish years now, since the Dynamics days. I remember first competing against her and her team at regionals, and ever since then, you've just kind of seen her blow up. She's done some bobsledding, and now she's back in the CrossFit space competing. I think we're going to see her out there on the competition floor again. Our next guest is Kelsey Kiel.
Hey, welcome to the pod, Kelsey Kiel.
There she is.
Thanks, guys.
So you hit a little swim this morning?
I did. Nothing crazy. It was 45 minutes of like 50s, just working on different breathing. So breathing every 3, 5, 7, and 9, just working on not panicking in the water.
Yeah.
So just moving with like 30 seconds rest between each 50.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can't do the opposite.
So today was the first day that I actually just like told myself I was going to do it and tried not to panic.
Did you get a lot of water in your ears?
Yeah, always.
Yeah. Well,
so not panicking, does that mean you don't love the water, Miss Kelsey?
I actually love it. I feel like I swam when I was a kid growing up, like on a swim team and stuff. But when we got to Miami this past Wadapalooza, I dove in, told myself I wasn't going to dive, and I dove, and that was fine. I felt like I was ready to go. And then
did your goggles come up, or you were good?
No, I was fine with the goggles.
All right.
But I got a little like a kick to the stomach, and because there's just like so many girls that hop in at once. And as soon as that happened, I felt like I swallowed half of the bay and then started to panic. Then it was like goggles fogged up. I don't think I put my head in the water once after that. So we're just kind of working on like not panicking and,
Well,
working on
thankfully
that
it wasn't
breathing.
a terribly long distance, right? What was it, 200?
250.
250?
It felt
Yeah.
terribly long,
I'm
honestly.
sure, especially after the row.
Yeah.
But all right, you're here. You're
Yeah,
alive.
I'm here. Survived it.
You just competed in something else, right? What did you just compete in?
Yeah, so I was just in the Austin area in Texas at the Fitness Experience. Yeah, competing as an individual.
Might have taken first.
Maybe. Yeah, it came
Yeah,
out
congratulations.
on top. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my
So you
first
got a
time.
lot of good momentum, a lot of good
Yeah.
vibes going into this season. You also recently made a announcement for your team.
Yeah. Pretty stoked about that.
Yeah. I slid into the team's DM.
I saw. I also saw the reply that she sent you.
Yeah. So I said to her, I'm like, this is gonna be fun. I could tell.
Yeah. She's a
So who's your
sassy
team?
So Joey is here in Philadelphia. So he's a brute athlete. He's been to the games. He went in 2019, actually competed against him at the games. He was on the Central Beasts team. And
I remember seeing him there.
Yeah.
The beard.
They did pretty well. Yeah, lots of that.
Lots of head hair.
And then the curls and the hair, yeah. And then our other guy is Nick Hecht. He actually owns a gym in Philadelphia and is in this area.
I know Nick.
I used to be with Training Think Tank. But is in Philly now. And I swindled Ashley Wozni, who was a Boston girl, to relocate her life to Philadelphia to be our other girl.
Very persuasive. Good job.
Yeah.
So Nick, I actually I competed against him at Joe at King of Queens.
Okay.
Day where I first met you, Joe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's all come full circle now.
We had rebranded to Hail to the King at that point.
Oh, right.
But all the same. Yeah. We got to actually, if we can get Con on here, Kelsey, Christian went through a very dramatic ending to this competition that we held in Queens with Con Porter. And we'll have to, wait, was that your little doggy?
Yes, that was him.
He's a star.
He is a star. I'll get him over here eventually. But
we need to.
There's food over there, so.
First things first.
Very motivated by food.
Anyway, sorry, I love dogs, so I'm a big fan of them. All right, so going back to the team thing, Christian, you competed against Nick, and you just had one of the girls relocate from Philly. You said, Kelsey?
From Boston to Philadelphia.
Boston to Philly.
Yeah, I used to live in Boston, and I competed against her at the games. She went with Reebok One. She's young. She's 23. She did really well as a teen as well. So she has a lot of competition under her belt, and she's a hoot.
Come on, give me the scoop. I need to know the scoop.
Yeah.
What do you think?
What am I dealing with here?
She's like me. She is taller and strong. She's better at running than I am. So she can also run on her hands. So two things that I'm working on personally. So it's a good balance for sure.
All right.
Yeah. We're all the same size too. So that helps with the worm.
The worm, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you started? So you've started to practice together a little bit already?
A little bit. We have done we've all like trained in the same room a bunch. We haven't gotten on the worm too much just because I was competing. Nick was at Wadapalooza. Ashley and myself were all at Wadapalooza, and then I went away this past weekend. So we haven't gotten on the worm too much, but a lot of racing and going against each other in like different pairs and stuff in the gym. So it's been really good.
Yeah, I could definitely relate to that for sure right now.
Yeah.
You were at the games a few times with Invictus on a team. Where does this current team kind of stack up with your experience in the past? Do you feel good about this team in comparison, like that you're going to make another run? What are your aspirations for the season?
That's a good question. When I first moved back like full time to Philadelphia.
Can we interrupt for a second?
Yes.
Just to preface this conversation with, I did reach out to Kelsey before everything started, just like if she wanted to be on my team, but I got denied. But we'll get back to that.
We will get back to that. I have a valid reason for that, but I had no idea what I was going to do this season. I didn't even know. I feel like when I decided to stop bobsledding, I was not in CrossFit shape. I hadn't done CrossFit in like over a year, maybe a year and a half. So it was definitely when I started going to open box and met Joey, it was just like me trying to get fit again and have fun with it and stay healthy and everything like that. And Joey and I just kind of, we chatted a lot about if we were going to put a team together, what that would look like. And we were both kind of on the same page of if we're going to do the team thing, we don't want to just like go get our jersey. Like we want to go and like fight for a spot. And that's why it really like, for me, it was about finding the right 4 people to put together in order to really kind of, I don't know, make a name for ourselves in the team competition. So not just go and participate, I want them to be like nervous about certain events for us, you know?
Oh, you think that's what I'm trying to do?
What do you
think I'm just trying to participate?
I didn't say that.
Damn.
No, can we
Oh, I can't wait now.
So with bobsled all last year, I just feel like I was never in one place. Like I was never home in Philly for more than like 10 days at a time for like almost an entire year. It was living out of suitcases, my car, hotel rooms, the training center up in Lake Placid. It was like the sense of overwhelm and uneasiness that I felt for like an entire year was just not conducive to what I wanted to do as an athlete. And Christian, when you reached out to me, it was very tempting for me because I think that it would be a lot of fun. But the idea of having to travel so much was the biggest factor for me. I talked with someone down in Virginia. There was a lot of like ideas thrown out there to compete in different spots, but I felt like I was kind of at the point in my life where I didn't really want to have to get up and leave every single week and travel and that kind of thing. So
yeah. So let's backtrack a little bit. Let's talk about the bobsledding thing. Is it what you expected? What what'd you think going into it? How was it during?
Yeah. That's a good question. I knew nothing about bobsled. The only insight into it was because I knew who Blaine McConnell was. So I kind of watched his transition from a CrossFit athlete to the bobsled world, but not closely. I didn't know what the training looked like. I didn't really know anything like that. And everyone was honest with me when I was coming into the sport that, it was going to be really hard for someone to make an Olympic team in a year and a half. In pretty much just one season, but it's been done before. So it was kind of like, Kelsey, let's see if you can do it. And at that point in my life, I was actually already leaving Boston, and it just kind of felt like it was something I couldn't not try. I feel like trying to make an Olympic team is just something that I wanted. I couldn't just say no to. I feel like I always regret if I hadn't done that. And I knew that CrossFit wasn't really going anywhere, or I was hoping that it wasn't going to go anywhere, so that I could always come back to that if I wanted to. So I tried it, and it was insane. The actual sport of bobsled, going down the track, was wild. But that's actually the part that I miss the most, is the actual, like, being in the back of a bobsled and going down the track. Like any
so you
sport.
got to have a little bit of a screw loose, right? You got to have a little
Yeah.
crazy in you.
We're
How
CrossFitters,
fast?
so
Yeah.
it's the
Well,
same.
yeah. Okay. Touche.
Yeah.
How fast does the bobsled go?
It depends on the track. The fastest, I think the fastest that I ever went was out in Park City, and it was around 84 miles per hour.
No.
I mean, you're not like in a seatbelt. You're in a sled, and you're holding onto the frame of the sled. And I don't know.
Face is 1 inch from the ground, and
yeah, you're just like squished over like a pancake, and you're just hoping your pilot gets you down the track.
That's got to be an insane adrenaline rush.
How do you simulate that in the beginning? Like, how do you practice, like, how do you baby step a bobsled practice?
Yeah, no, you don't. You get thrown into it. So I went up to Lake Placid in September of 2020, and the ice wasn't ready yet. Lake Placid is actually one of the hardest tracks in the entire world. And they had to get it cold enough up there to make sure that the ice was ready to be have sliding going on and everything like that. But so as soon as I got out of quarantine up there, they have what's called like a push track, and it's like a frame sled on wheels, and you can like practice the like hit and pushing a sled. But then you hop in and you just ride it back up, and that's it. In Lake Placid now they have an ice house. It's like a state-of-the-art facility that you can practice. It really mimics the start ramp of a bobsled track. But the actual going down the track, you cannot practice that. You can't even, people tried to describe it to me, like what it will feel like when I first go down it, but it's just something you have to experience. Yeah, it's that they have the ice house now, which is really good for the USA team, because normally if you didn't have the push track, you'd get 2 runs, maybe 3 runs in a day. That's technically like 3 reps for a push athlete. So that would be all you would get in a training session, because it's a lot of time goes into it all, which was a learning curve too. But
and then you spoke briefly about the training for it. What does the training kind of look like for that?
Yeah, it was a lot of explosive work. So a lot of bobsledders are old ex-football players, track athletes, a lot of like explosive sports where, you know how to sprint, all that sprint mechanic work, as well as you're super strong. So on paper, I was like recruited because of my size and my strength. Little did we know, I've never trained sprinting and like the actual mechanics of that. So the training that went in for me was just really learning how to actually sprint, and pushing and that kind of thing was a little bit easier for me. But the hardest thing was learning those sprint mechanics. So yeah, learning curve, crazy.
So you got recruited to bobsled.
Yeah.
Now, what was it like camaraderie wise with some of the individuals that also got recruited or were previous team members and things like that?
That was actually something that was new for me, was going to, I mean, it's an Olympic sport, so they are numbers driven. They're very results driven, which they have to be because they're trying to win medals, right? I, coming from the CrossFit space and like where it's all about community and all of that, it was new walking into the gym, and now I like
fresh meat.
Yeah, it's like I'm a new girl trying to take this girl's spot. So it was like there were some people who were super cold at first and some people that were super warm at first. But after like spending some time and people getting to know one another, it definitely like, it's just like any other team sport. It's hard on the women's side because they only have 2-man bobsled. So if you're not a pilot, they also have monobob, which is just the pilot in the sled going down the track in a different kind of sled. But it's 2-man. So right now there's 2 pilots at the Olympics and 2 brakemen and 1 alternate. So that's 3 girls in the same position that I was trying to be. Like that's only 3 girls and there was tons on the team. So you're really fighting for 3 spots, 2 spots really. And I mean, you're going off of like hundreds of seconds difference on these things. So it could get a little cutthroat.
Slim pickings.
Yeah.
Now I've seen a couple of documentaries on just like the Olympics and the culture and all that kind of stuff. Yes, you said it's cutthroat. How about from like a, I guess, funding or like living situation type of standpoint?
Yeah, it was all new to me hearing that. Well, first of all, you don't get a stipend unless you make the actual national team. And so that's one thing to consider. And the stipends aren't like something that it's not like a livable income. The national team is fully funded. So when they go over to Europe, everything's paid for. On the NAC team, which is the like North America's Cup, that's what I got to race in at the tracks here on North America. It's all self-funded. So out of pocket, we're booking our flights, we're booking our hotel rooms, unless you're in Lake Placid and you get a bed at the Olympic Training Center. Otherwise, everything's pretty much on you.
Yeah, I gotta say, it kind of like boggles my mind that still at this point, there's still not enough funding to make it legit for athletes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I've kind of heard that across the board, like with a lot of Olympic sports. Yeah, I've heard that. I don't know.
What do you got, Joe?
No, I was just letting you do your thing. You know, I got some stuff, but just let you spit it.
Go ahead. What you got?
I was just actually watching a YouTube documentary on the Dream Team, the USA basketball team with Jordan and all those guys, and how just a couple of years before that, the Olympics is supposed to be an amateur thing, not a professional thing per se. So I think that's kind of just where the hiccup is now that the Olympics have developed so much into what they've developed into, that they're still holding on to that amateurish pay structure or lack thereof, as opposed to them being treated like true professionals. So my question, I guess, to you, Kelsey, would be about like what's in CrossFit. It's the same deal, right? Like unless you're a very, very, very small percentage of athletes that make money winning or competing, a lot of it is sponsor based. So was there a lot of that you experienced, or is that even allowed? I don't even know with the Olympics how that goes.
Yeah, so there is a way to do it. I don't know. The women at the top of the top are doing it, and they're doing it correctly. Someone like Kaylee Humphreys, who's the top USA pilot, she is just a bobsledder. Like that, she has enough sponsorships that that is her income, and she can live off of that. I didn't really look too much into how to make that work because I didn't know like if this was going to be a long-term thing for me. I do know that like certain things like names on your helmet, like putting your sponsored name on the sled itself, there's like rules about like where you can put sponsorship names on sleds and that kind of thing. So I think that it's doable.
Sorry to interrupt, but does it have to be so this is, you're on a bobsled team, but can you as an individual athlete get individual sponsorships?
Right. Yes.
You can
Yeah.
do that as
So
well?
it's,
Okay.
yeah. USABS has their like sponsorships, like their partnerships with different companies. But then someone like Kaylee, who she totally has her own sponsorships, like the different things she'll put on her helmet or on her sled or that kind of thing. One thing I think that a lot of people don't realize in the sport of bobsled is that, like, I have one of my friends, one of the girls I connected with a lot last year, is a brand new pilot, and she has to buy her sled and her runners. Like, everything is like, you do this. It's not like, I think if you get placed high enough in like on Team USA, then they'll let you can rent a sled from them, and they provide sleds and that kind of thing. But she's just starting out and she's crushing it, but it's all like out of her own pocket. They'll like have a sled, but it might need a lot of work done on it. And there's a lot of bobsled's a blue collar sport. Like 10% of it is pushing and going down the track, but the other 90 is you're in the garage for hours with your pilot, like doing sled work, sanding runners, buffing runners, like getting your hands really dirty. So I think that was also what a lot of people didn't know about the sport. What I didn't know at first. Yeah. I mean, I learned how to like grease your runners, sand them. You're like putting runners on, taking them off. You're flipping sleds. Like, if you're not sliding that day at the track, you're a sled dog. You're moving these really heavy sleds and you're flipping them, and you're making sure that the people that are sliding are ready to go. So it's a lot.
All right. Well, going down the bobsled hill back into CrossFit, away from bobsledding. How did it feel? Not only Wadapalooza, but you just got on the podium in Austin. Keep Austin weird. First off, did you enjoy Austin? Had you ever been?
I had been to like the Central Texas area, but never to Austin. It was actually Taylor, Texas. So I stayed in Round Rock. So I wasn't actually in Austin, but it was freaking cold.
Yeah. Well, what's cold in Texas? How cold?
Well, I know I
have something to say.
I left Philly during that snowstorm, but it was like one morning was 33 degrees and the whole competition was outside.
That's cold.
Okay.
It was cold. I had hand warmers in my pocket.
Was there any like indoor areas to get away?
No. It was pretty much all, there are like covered areas, and then the one event was kind of like in like an inside place. The thruster event was inside, but other than that, it was all outside.
Got it.
Once the sun started shining.
With Wadapalooza and Taylor.
Yeah.
Did it take you a moment to get back into the swing of things, having been away for a little bit? Did you have the confidence in yourself that you just pick up right where you left off, or how did that go?
Yeah, no. In Miami was fun because it was a team of 3, so I was able to compete with my best friend and kind of lean on my other 2 teammates. That that had been 2 years since I had competed. Strength and depth was in late January 2020, and that was the last time I'd ever competed. So Wadapalooza was like the perfect way to kind of like get back into it slowly. Looking back on that, there's definitely a few events that I went in doubting some of the things that I personally could do. I mean, also I've never tested things like toes to rings in a workout or in like a competition setting. So it was a good like learning experience. And then going into the fittest experience, it was I didn't have anyone to lean on. So it was just me, and it wasn't easy by any means. They had a surprise workout, or one you didn't know, leading in to start the whole event on Friday night. And it was a fast one. It had a lot of handstand walking. And in the 2 years ago, handstand walking for speed wasn't like a strength of mine. And I didn't do well. I got 12th in that event. And it was like, after that, it just felt like I had to kind of crawl my way back. And so Friday night was definitely, there was some doubts there. Like, what am I doing? Do I even belong here anymore? Like, those thoughts definitely went through my head. But I knew that Saturday was going to be a pretty good day for me with a strength event and a 3K row. So I needed to have that kind of, I keep saying goldfish mentality, if anyone's ever watched Ted Lasso, but where you can just forget about it and move on to the next thing, and just kind of have blinders on and focus on that next event. And then Sunday came around, and it was for the pro women, it was the push or the squat pull, which is a workout that had a lot of pulling. And that's been a weakness of mine in the past that I've really been drilling these last 3 months. And after that workout, I feel like I felt my confidence creeping back up for sure, because I surprised myself, and I went in with a plan and trusted my gymnastics and the work that I put in. And that was perfect going into the final workout. And so, yeah, I feel like there was definitely that moment, like, what am I doing?
It's always great when you do have that little bit of like second guessing of, whatever the case may be, and it goes better than according to plan. It definitely helps to boost that confidence. So
yeah,
that's really good for you going into this season, for sure. Yeah.
What keeps you coming back? You said you swam when you were younger. Did you do any other sports? Are you just an athlete at heart? You or Christian or any of y'all, like, why do you keep doing this to yourself?
So I played soccer. I actually played all 4 years of college at a small Division III school in New York. But there's same with like doing the bobsled thing, like the team sports, everything like that. There's just something different about CrossFit. And I've been kind of reflecting on that a lot in the last couple of months, that like, it's not about the podium finish. Like, I'm not going, like, that's, if it were about that, if it's, to relate it to bobsled, about like the medals, the Olympics, that like one thing in the future, then I don't think that we'd be doing it. Like, for me, it's about the process every single day, going to the gym, having these routines, and just bettering myself in so many different ways, whether it's physically, but so often it's mentally, that it's just this, like, it's more process driven. And I missed that all when I took that time off. And I think that's why I keep coming back. It's just because I'm in love with that, like, make yourself better. It doesn't mean it's like you're trying to get this like gold medal. It's you're trying to be better than you were the day before. I think that's why I keep coming back.
Yeah, I got to agree. I kind of just had this conversation a couple of days ago, and it's like I gave basically the same exact answer. That's the constant pursuit of betterment. And playing sports from a young age, you just, if you're an athlete from a young age, I think you just have it in your DNA, like that you just want to go out and compete, or like just push yourself, and it just carries over to everything else in your life. Again, like you were saying, especially from the mental side of things, right? The situations that you put yourself in CrossFit, and the amount of resiliency that you need to get through a lot of these workouts, it just really carries over into everything else that you do. And I think a lot of people that do CrossFit have success in many other facets of their lives because of what they've learned through their experiences. So,
yeah.
Well said. Do you have anything for Kels before you put her on the hot seat? Any more banter? Like, you got, you started.
I was just gonna say, when are we getting these team dates set up?
Hey, I'm all about it.
So I'm thinking one between.
Talk some trash to Christian. Come on, let me hear it.
I'm not good at that.
One between the open and quarters, one between the open and semis, and then one between semis and games.
Yeah.
And just like Have a nice little throwdown.
I like it. Did
we'll
you reach out
we'll
to
get some
anyone
more
else?
banter. I'm thinking about it. I mean, we've got the space for sure. We've got 3 worms. So another team could potentially be in the mix. If you know of any, then let me know.
I feel like there's so many rumors about so many different like people doing this, doing that, but
I mean, rumors.
I know it has to be set
February
now,
3rd.
right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Hot seat.
Hot seat time.
Okay.
Couple of quick questions. Give me the first thing that comes to your mind.
Oh gosh.
You ready?
I hope so.
You sure?
I don't know.
All right. Would you rather move fast or lift heavy?
Lift heavy.
Coffee or pre-workout?
Coffee.
Current favorite sneaker?
Oh, my Innovates.
Favorite brunch food?
Pancakes.
If you had to pick one movement for the rest of your life, what would it be?
The clean.
Current favorite song?
The Cure by Lady Gaga.
I got a bonus one for you.
Okay.
Sit in a sauna for 60 minutes, really hot, like 180 degrees, or ice plunge for 3 minutes.
Ice plunge.
For 3 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
All right. That
Lady Gaga song, though.
Oh my gosh, I cannot stop playing this song.
Get your turn, huh? Get your turn.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
no shame.
Thanks so much for being on the podcast. We wish you not all of the luck, but most of the luck.
Save some for me.
Okay.
Right.
So that's that. Thanks, Kels. Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for your time, girl.
Of course.
All right.
There she is. Now listen, when you all do your scrimmage, maybe just tell the team go 80% and let them beat you so that, they can build their false confidence and hope. And then when you get on the real comp floor, you can take it to them. What do you think about that?
Nah, I'm not into that.
All right.
I'm a competitive
You
prick.
do you. You just better make sure you come out on top. I don't want to hear Kelsey. She says she's not a trash talker, but I don't believe her. She might be trash talking you if she gets the win over you.
Yep.
All right, bro. Good to see you as always.
All right. Another one.
Another one bites the dust later. All right. Thanks for tuning in to Move Fast, Lift Heavy podcast. That was our special guest, Kelsey Kiel, and co-host and founder of MFLH, Christian Harris. I'm Joe Roscoe. Until the next one, don't forget, rate, subscribe, leave a comment, tell your friends, double click, swipe, do all the things. We'll see you on the next one. Later.